So hello and welcome back yet again. We are back and this was going to be another crafting video, but I haven't gotten it edited. You can actually see the results of what I made today. I think they're very cute. I mean, they're kind of simple, but they're just a little idea I saw and I thought they were so cute, just making little sleighs out of Christmas candy. And I mean, really easy to do. I even made a couple. I can show you. I can hit that really, really hard. I can show you the one that I made that's just with a candy bar and actual just little candy canes as your sled runners. I thought they were very cute. I saw some that were also like trains. And the train ones were kind of cute too, but I liked the idea of just little sleds. And then this one I just thought was cute because I put Santa in the front. And I mean, you can pile it with presents, you can pile it with candy. I do know that I need to go and get more hot glue because I managed to use all of my hot glue up and they still fell apart a little bit. So definitely when I'm doing the voiceover for the making of, I'm going to have to caution everybody to use more hot glue than you think or something, because yeah, they only two came apart, but it was still kind of disappointing because I didn't have more hot glue to like tack it together with. So those are being put aside for another day, but I do like the way they come out. I'm a little bit worried because that one and the other one that's kind of like it that came apart are actually going into a package. So hopefully they won't come apart in the mail. They probably will. But you know what? I think the fact that they came apart just shows I'm not the world's best crafter, but I have fun with it. You know, I'm thinking up more and more ideas and hopefully I'll be able to pull them off. It's funny, trying to do crafts versus trying to do crafts on video is a whole nother beast that's always kind of interesting. So yeah. Anyway, how are you guys doing for Christmas? I thought we would talk about more Christmassy stuff, like Christmases past. And I was thinking about when I was a kid and the fact that I have two very memorable Christmas presents that you guys have seen quite often, although never the whole thing. One is this blanket that I am sitting on that is I'm using to cover my couch that I sit on here. And I think I got it when I was about 13 or 14. It's just one of those cheap polyester type, fleecy blankets. But it has two horses running through the moonlight on it. And I remember my mom got it for me because she knew I was like horse crazy beyond all belief. I don't think I outgrew my horse craziness until I actually grew up and ended up having some horses of my own. And then I discovered that horses are so, like, don't get me wrong, I loved my horses. I still miss them quite often. Kind of glad I don't have them up here in the Upper Peninsula because, boy, I can't even imagine how frustrated they are in the wintertime. But they're a lot more work than a book makes it seem. I had some good memories with them. And the other one, which I've had people ask me about it before, and I think I've shown it before. And the older I get, the more I realize just how much work this was. And the fact that I never knew she was doing it just amazed me. And I think I was only maybe 9 or 10 years old. And my mother cross-stitched. It's a unicorn and a Pegasus together. And what really gets to me about this one, because I've done a little bit of cross-stitch before, not a lot. And it's the fact that she did it on this dark background doing a counted cross-stitch pattern. I can't even imagine trying to count the squares on this and getting it right. Every time I look at this as I get older, I'm more and more impressed by it. And then my dad actually made the frame. I don't know how he made the frame. When I was young, I thought maybe he had bent the wood, but I think he actually just took one piece of wood and his saw and just cut it. But still, quite impressive. One of my favorite Christmas presents, I think, that I've ever gotten, and it's hung on my wall in, I think, every house I've ever lived in, with the exception of the very first apartment that I lived in when I was married, because it was still in my old bedroom at the time. Because, yeah. So, what are some Christmas presents that you guys remember? Do you guys keep your old Christmas presents? Is it one of the things that, do you have something that you've held on to for like the last 30 years, like these presents? I have other presents too, but I don't remember if they were Christmas presents or birthday presents. A lot of the Breyer model horses, and you can't even see them, I'm pointing at them like you guys can see them. But a lot of my Breyer model horse collection, I would either get for Christmas presents or birthday presents, because they were a little bit out of my price range when I was a kid. So I would always put them on my Christmas list and hope that somebody would get me a Breyer. I ended up getting about one a year, I think. Other than that, I don't remember too many like super memorable Christmas presents. I remember a lot of, happy Christmases. I vaguely remember, and somewhere I have a picture of it. If I find it during Vlogmas, I'll bring it out. But somewhere I have a picture of a family Christmas present that we got. I must have been like somewhere between 7 and 9 years old. And it was an Atari. I don't even think it was a 2600. It was just an Atari system. And I remember we had River Run, which I was terrible at. We had Frogger, which sometimes I was good at, but usually I was very bad at. We had Tank, and I think we had a bowling game that cemented my hatred of bowling games for a very long time, because trying to do a bowling game with a joystick, I wasn't good at. It's funny, when I was a kid, I was not nearly as interested in video games as I am now as an adult, which is kind of ironic. It might just be that video games have gotten so much better. I mean, I remember even more vaguely than the Atari that we had that game that played Pong. I don't even remember what the system was called. It was big and clunky, and it didn't have a joystick or anything. It had like this flat little controller with a slide bar on it, and you would just play Pong. But that one is like way back in the recesses of my memory, and I don't remember it really, really well, but I do remember playing it. It's funny. And these days, I think for Christmas, I would be happy with like comfy, cozy, soft socks. I love socks. It's funny because I think that was the thing that I always identified with so much in the Harry Potter books, was Dumbledore always talking about socks. And I was like, yeah, cozy socks are good. I keep my expectations fairly low these days, but that's because I don't really like have anything that I specifically want. I mean, I have a lot of things that I want, but in general, as long as I have all the things I need, which I pretty much do, I stay pretty satisfied. So, yeah, that was today's Christmas memory. Please share your Christmas memories down below. Like, do you have any Christmas presents that like really stand out to you? Do you have any Christmases that really stand out to you? I shared in that last video that, you know, Christmas was always spent with my dad's side of the family, and I have a vague memory when I was still young enough to mostly believe in Santa Claus. I remember laying in my grandparents' bedroom, and it was late. All of the adults were doing whatever adults did. And me and my one cousin, who was about my brother's age, but we were very good friends, she and I were laying in my grandparents' room. And my grandparents were very much like the 40s and 50s couple. They each had their own separate, like, twin beds the entire time I ever knew them. So I was laying on one of the beds and she was laying on the other. And I remember thinking that we heard sleigh bells. These days, I'm pretty sure it was probably one of the adults in the living room just jingling and hoping that the gullible children were going to think that it was Santa, but I was pretty sure it was Santa. I'm also pretty sure that was the last year that I actually believed in Santa Claus, because that was already kind of on the way out for me. Christmas is always a good time, so I hope that you didn't mind me rambling at you. I am going to get the making of my little sleighs. I think they're almost a sleigh. My little sleds. I'm going to get that making of, probably edited together, and see what else I can film to go with it. I am curious though, what sorts of other things would you guys like me to do for Vlogmas? I'm kind of planning, unless the weather shifts really badly, I'm definitely planning on a trip out to Kitchi-to-Kippy. That is such a mouthful to say. Kitchi-to-Kippy. It is the big spring. I've taken people there, well, via video a couple of times, but it's always a beautiful thing to go to, especially in the winter if we get some snow, because it's just breathtaking scenery. But, you know, I am kind of curious, what other sorts of things would you guys like to see? Because I have lots of ideas, but it's ultimately kind of what you guys want to see. So drop me a comment down below. Let me know your Christmas memories. Let me know your favorite Christmas presents and any other ideas that you have. And I will see you probably tomorrow.